We are getting ready to go live. And live from Houston, Texas, is the Ginger Crumb Show, Monday, 7:30. Ginger, I think you're on.
I think we are too. Hi, John. Okay, so sorry for the delay today. It's just always interesting on Mondays getting our act together and getting up here on time. And you'd think we would, we had all day to do it, so here we are. But anyway, thanks for joining us. If you're new to our live show and just happen to be popping by and said, oh, I wonder what a live show is. What we're doing, this is an acrylic painting show, and what I do on Mondays is usually take some little aspect of something that we're painting, focus on it, talk about that. That's my big plan here. So I like to do that. And what I'm going to be showing you today, is more about atmospheric perspective. If you remember a couple weeks ago, we had a barn, a red barn. That's been really popular. Some of you guys have done a killer job on that barn. And we put all the mountains in perspective. And that's one type of atmospheric perspective where we kind of fade everything out, But today what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the landscape again, but we're going to talk about perspective in the sense that not in buildings and things, but in the sense that things get smaller as they go back out of focus, less bright. All right. So, that's our big plan, and we think it's a good one. And I'm going to show you, we're going to do something on a small canvas so that we can do it easily. Don't worry about following along, painting along with me. You can if you like, but I think you'd get a lot out of the chat and the fun of the chat, and also questions, and if you kind of just watch it first, we're going to leave this up. So when we leave it up, you can just come back and catch it later. And also when you catch it later, we'd appreciate some likes and comments. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, now's a good time to do so. Then you'll see, you'll be notified when we do other live shows. We do them on Tuesdays as well, and Wednesdays at the same time, 7:30 Central Time. So you see here, what I've got now is a photograph of a field of poppies. And it's sort of fun. And even with my glasses, I had the hardest time deciding what this was. John and I talked about it, and he thinks it's a riot, because I'm getting cataract surgery, I guess, in February, and apparently I need it, because I'm thinking, this looks like a wave back there. And then I thought, well, in real life, if that were a wave, this would be a tsunami, and there'd be nothing left of this field of poppies. And he explained this is some sort of mountain, and those are some snow-capped mountains. And I'm going, well, here's the deal. If you have to, if you paint something and you have to explain what it is, you should write a book, okay? Not paint it. That's one of the old rules. So you can't really tell. So if we're going to put some mountains back here, we'll definitely put some in, but they're going to be somewhat recognizable to the average viewer, so we don't mistake an ocean for a mountain, something like that. Those kinds of things. So, all right, so in a landscape like this, I'm using the Centurion tonight. It's a 6x8 canvas, and it's linen. Now, linen is a very smooth canvas, and if you're in the art store, you'll see stretch canvas that's linen, and it's very pricey. So is linen a good thing to buy? Well, look, if you're going to be regularly selling your artwork and you have the budget and you're selling enough where you can afford linen, it sounds very upscale. Let me put it that way. I wanted to say snotty, but I want to say upscale sounds better. Upscale to say acrylic on linen. It sounds kind of classy. Everybody else has got acrylic on canvas in the gallery, and yours is on linen. Obviously, yours must be better on some sort of level, okay? But linen actually is very nice and very smooth. You see, generally, if you don't have to even read the fine print, linen is usually brown on the back, and it's a much tighter weave. And if you're doing great detail, this is a very nice thing to paint on. But I just thought I'd demonstrate that today. You could do this on any canvas. It doesn't really require linen. You can buy these Centurion canvases from Jerry's Artorama. They don't pay me to say that. I'm just going to tell you where you can get them. And they're the only ones I know that sell them. And they also sell a 16x20, which I think is very nice to cut up into 8x10s. I usually buy a 16x20 tablet and cut it up into 8x10s. It's very handy. And we do this for practice. We do the small stuff for practice so you don't waste a lot of paint figuring out how to do something. And then this would be a stunning painting larger, okay? So earlier today, I was painting. Look at all these great colors here. I was painting on my birthday surprise. And what is that? Well, my birthday's coming up around, did I tell people when it was? I guess you can look it up on Facebook.
Yeah,
it's like the 1st of February.
And it's like the 1st of February? What do you mean it's like?
Well, it is the 1st of February.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure my calendar's right.
Oh yeah, it's like that, you know. I just kind of Valley Girl talk, and that's California
got
Valley.
you.
It's like this, you know. So anyway, I thought for my birthday it would be loads of fun to give you guys a gift. And so on my birthday, I'm giving away a super cool gift, and we'll tell you more about that as the days go on. It's going to be a week from Thursday, so by then you'll be able to have something really cool. And here is the paint palette I used for this. So now you're getting a kind of a hint. It must be something to do with the painting.
Well,
And
it must be, and it looks like all your standard colors.
all
so-
my standard colors plus magenta, okay? And since I had some left over, I figured let's not throw this out. Let's just use it today. So you know that some sort of, I guess we could give you that much of a hint. It's some sort of painting tutorial. Won't tell you what it is, but you're going to be able to download it and own it for free. It'll be free on our website, and we'll release it for 1 week on February 1st, all right? For 1 week, and then after that we'll it'll go up for sale because it's kind of a cool painting. So I worked on that today, and so what we're going to do now is going to move my little, my poppy thing. We're going to divide this painting into, well, I don't know, maybe I'm just going to come down about 2 fingers and just kind of do some sort of a hilly line back here. That's going to be my sky. And then I'm going to come down another 2 fingers and say this is my field of poppies. And then somewhere in here, I'm going to say that there's some, we'll have some sort of hills in here. Maybe a couple of them hills like this crossing this way, something crossing this way, and then one back here. Okay, how's that sound? Sounds good, right? So we got some background hills, and then we're going to have the poppies. Now, to do an underpainting on something like this, boy, I could have sworn I washed that brush, but I didn't. You know what? I just let it sit all day without being washed. See if I can revive it. What I want to do first is paint the sky in. Now, here's the deal. Here's our color wheel. This is important. Don't get a slave to a photograph. In fact, something like this, you've been better off really, rather than have a color photograph, because it's going to be real hard not to make that color, is to just paint it black and white. Then you can be an artist and figure out your own colors. I'm going to show you that turquoise is opposite orange on the color wheel. Now these are beautiful orange California poppies, big field of those. And so a turquoise sky would be much better as far as, color-wise. It's something that kind of grabs you, right? Kind of gets your senses going much better than say this blue, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the turquoise blue sky, and I'm probably going to have to take another brush. Here's a little, man, I didn't wash anything today. Wow, I just got up and walked off, didn't I? Huh, perfect. Okay, here we go. Here's some sort of brush. This is a Ruby Satin Silver, number 8, and it's a bright brush, but it's been fairly well used, and you can see it's a little frayed. Don't throw them out, they're good. So we're going to wet the brush, and then we take a rag and it's a real terry cloth rag, and wipe it off, okay? Now I'm going to start with a little phthalo blue and white. Now you'll notice on this, I've got a lot of colors on here, not much white left, because I really had a blast with all these colors. So I'm going to put a little more white out. And I'm going to take, it's mostly white, with a little tiny bit of phthalo blue. Phthalo blue is like kryptonite. It's very powerful. And I'm going to add just a touch of burnt sienna to it, like less than 1%, just to tone it down a little bit so it's not too circusy. And I'm going to come up here like this and paint right across the top of this, like this, and maybe a little bit darker up at the top. Let's make it just slightly darker up at the top. Did you know that one of the things that in general, if it's not a storm, skies are lighter as they come down toward the horizon. So your sky should be lighter. That means with a little bit more white in it, in your blue, than it is up at the top, even though this is a pretty little sky here. You notice I'm going all the way across the canvas like that, okay? There we go. So there's our sort of gradated sky. Now I want you to see, here's some orange. Look how pretty this blue is with this orange. It just is slightly, it's a little more turquoise. It's that phthalo blue, so it's really quite a beautiful blue. Now the next color that I want to do, not going to talk too much about these hills back here. The farther things are away, the grayer they are, all right? That's important. And so when you're talking about, so how, we're not using black, so how do you get gray? Well, a complement on a color wheel is any color that's opposite. So for instance, if you add a lot of orange to blue, or turquoise, if you add a lot of orange, it'll gray the color, all right? Kind of a red. And what's orange? Red and yellow. Okay, so let's take that blue right there that we made, and we need a little ultramarine blue in that because that's more of that's the red shade, and add a little bit of that. And then let's add a tiny bit of cad red medium to that. All right, not very much, just a teeny bit. And now we've got this sort of gray color, but I don't have quite enough ultramarine blue out. So let's put that, let me add a little more of that out there. And this was a great day for me today. I just really had a happy day. You know, not the day before was less happy than today. And that was because I felt really good today. And yesterday was not as keen a day. I'm still recovering from this gallbladder business, and apparently you just can't go out and pig out on Chinese food. You know, it's just you know, that's what you can't do it. Oh well, live and learn, right? So all right, so here's my kind of gray color, and I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to say that right back here, I'm going to say that all these mountains are going to be kind of gray. All right, and they're still. Want a little more ultramarine blue in that, just a little more like this. And we're going to come in here like this and say that these are gray, like that, and just pull this like this. I mean, this is a small canvas, so you can just be a little braver with this, right? When it's little like this, you can always just start over. You didn't really like what you did, so just kind of loosen up, feel brave. All right, so there's sort of our gray. Now we're not done with that yet, but that's a start, okay? And I might want a little bit darker, just a little more ultramarine blue. I might take a little more ultramarine blue just right on the brush and darken this one, but that's okay. Now the rest of this is going to go green. Now the rest of what we're doing is going to go green. So I'm already in the ultramarine blue, so I'm going to take a little bit of yellow oxide. And now I've got this sort of dark green color. Now here we go. See that? Almost a grade green. I'm going to come up here like this. And now I'm going across here like this. And this is my background. Just remember, the farther things are away, the grayer they are. All right, that's just one of those kind of rules. All right, now that's the gray. Now let's add more ultramarine blue, more yellow oxide, maybe a bit of burnt umber, maybe a tiny bit of phthalo. I want a really dark green now. All right, so I've got a darker green, but it's brighter. So I'm going to come in here like this. And as I come forward, my green's a little brighter, okay? Now notice I'm leaving a little space between the grade green and this other brighter green that I'm doing. Can you see the difference? Now what you do is just wipe the brush off and then just kind of overlap and melt those together. Do you see that? Just overlap and melt those together. Now let's say we're starting to come forward now. Now let's make it more phthalo blue, tiny bit of cad yellow medium. Boy, that's really bright green, so let's take a little purple and put in that. Okay, there's your little bit of dark purple. What's purple? Red and blue makes purple. So purple is almost, so now look here. Now we're getting darker as we come forward. You see that? So now I've got these sort of layers of greens in here. You've made all these greens. We didn't buy any greens. You guys notice that? We didn't buy any greens. Save you a lot of money. You don't need to buy greens. If you're going to be spending some money on colors and you're using student grade paint, what I would tell you to buy is buy a really good professional grade white and buy really good reds and yellows. Really, really good reds and yellows. Okay, so now those are our 3 green colors that we've got going there, like that. And now what I have to do at this point is dry everything. All right, so you can see where this is where we're having these kind of layers of colors. All right, now this brush goes in water. And John, before I dry anything, can I answer any questions?
They're trying to guess what the birthday present is, so no.
Well, it'll be fun, and you know it's for everybody. Anybody that
Everybody in the world.
Everybody can have it for that 1 week.
Did you turn the green with yellow oxide?
I did this green with this darker green. I added a little bit of cad yellow medium to it and some purple and some phthalo to get that darker green. And I used yellow oxide for these back greens because yellow oxide's got red in it. Red, why is that, you guys? Because red is opposite green on the color wheel. So when you add red to green, it grays it. Okay, bottom line. All right, so we're going to dry this.
Oh, so you want me to silent you and
Silent me and chat with
the
it.
crowd.
Listen, we've had some fantastic paintings come in this week from our members and from you guys that have been on YouTube and watching the show. Some of you have put it on my Pinterest or on my Facebook page, and I've tried to pin it up. So if you haven't been to my Pinterest board, Ginger Cook Live, all one word on Pinterest, and become a member. I mean, not a member, but just join the gang and follow or whatever you do on Pinterest, whatever that is. You do something on Pinterest. The third board up there is the student board, and the next board for artists. It's going to go flying off in here like a frisbee. This we don't need anymore, right? So we could certainly put this away. Good thinking, Baba Louise out there. Yeah, absolutely. Good thinking.
Wait a minute. Wait. The streamer stopped.
What stopped?
We're not streaming at the moment for some reason.
Oh.
Hold on a second. Man, I hope we're not in trouble again. It says it's streaming, but I'm...
Right for comments. Comment right now. Are we streaming? Go yay, thumbs up, something. We don't know.
Well, it looks like we're... Put your hand out there for a second.
Hello. Here's my hand.
Coming through. Well, it's all clear. Let me go back to my conversation, see if I can...
All right, anybody? Because before I dry, I want to
make
make
sure... Is it back? Are you guys seeing it? Now it's blurry. Well, check your speed. I see you now. We hear you now. It's working now. We are. You're back. Okay, we're back.
All right, I'm drying.
Well, she's going to dry, and we're going to silence her while she does that. And let me get my stuff. Okay.
All right.
Now, Ginger, you're quiet. Remind me to bring you back. Okay, hopefully we're back. I want to show you some artwork that came in this week. This one in particular was from Carolyn. Just look at this dog. This is phenomenal. I am just, this, and even Ginger even said, this is better than what Ginger did. Just look at that thing. That is absolutely gorgeous. Now, Minette sent us in, we're going to do a little of the Ginger Pack, which is a personal art coaching commentary. This is the original that Minette sent in. Okay, take a look at it. Really gorgeous. Looks great. But as Ginger does the Ginger Packs, she likes to take you one step further. She wants to bring you up. So let's see what Ginger suggested on this one. Looks like we're adding light greens to the flowers on the wall. She's saying it's excellent in the background. Glaze the shadows over the path. Now, if you look closely, you can see where Ginger laid in some cutouts from her actual painting. All right? So now, let's see what Minette came back with. I gotta find the right one. And Minette's final, right there, I just instantly changed it for you. Okay, that is the final. So if you go back to the original, here's her original. Take a look at this. Look closely at this. I'm just going to zoom it or just fade it into the other one. And here's her final. And just look at the difference. Is that phenomenal? I think so.
You can turn me back on now.
You are back on.
All right. So, hey, John, I really like that. And those are, sometimes it's just subtle stuff. Sometimes it's just a fresh pair of eyes looking at your stuff. And sometimes sometimes, honestly, sometimes I like what you painted better than what I painted. And that's okay, too. Because the idea is that I'm not trying to teach you to paint like me. I'm just trying to teach you to paint. And if I can show you some tricks that's going to up your game, then that's what I'm all about. Let's up your game. All right. We dried this. We can now move this back. Now, what I need is some mixing white. Mixing white, we had a big question yesterday under something on, somebody says, I don't understand the difference between titanium white, zinc white, and mixing white. So let's go over this one more time, you guys. Mixing white is part titanium, part zinc. Mixing white is a translucent white like wax paper, okay? Titanium white is like a door, you can't see through it. And zinc white is more like, it's more translucent than mixing white, okay? And Liquitex makes mixing white, but not everybody does, and not everybody even makes zinc. Golden makes a very good zinc white. All right, not everybody makes zinc, and it comes, and I even have it in the jar. It's very good stuff, and I like the Liquitex mixing white too. So now what I need to do here is take a little brush, and I want to push. We did it before, but let's push these little mountains back. Can we do that? let's take this little angle brush here. This isn't very big. This is Ruby Satin Silver, 3/4 inch angle. And what I also want to do, I guess we could put our picture back. For those of you who came in late, we're painting this. All right, so put that right there. And I'm going to take a little piece of paper towel here. This is very handy if you haven't done this. This is kind of fun. It's a funny thing. Just kind of fold it up a couple times and stick it somewhere. And boy, you better have a towel, a terry cloth towel under your water. That's a must. So when you take your brush out, you tap it on the towel. But this is handy too. Okay, so we got that. Now we're going to take our mixing white and kind of wipe it off on here like that. Do it one more time. Tap it here. Now I'm going to take this middle mountain here, because I've dried it, and I'm going to just push that back. Now look what happened. See? Did you see it disappear? And we'll do it a little more. We'll make it, here it is, a little bit stronger. And you see, you can still see it. Now what if you wanted something to disappear, kind of? You didn't want it as bright. It's just a for instance, right? But let's just do the top of these mountains right here. Let's just push them back a little bit too, just on the tops, you know what I mean? Just like this. Kind of a little mixing white in our sky even, just kind of, there we go. What if we did, I like this. That's also good for clouds. If you wanted to streak a few clouds. You wouldn't want anything too busy in here, but you could streak a few clouds in here too, if you wanted. There we go. What if you wanted something further back and mixing white was just too strong, zinc white was too much? One of the things people don't realize is you can take a matte medium and varnish, and if you do several coats of that, that will kind of dull. It's got almost like a white film on it, very, very translucent. But if you needed to just push something back a little bit, sometimes that can be the key. So I kind of like that, don't you? I kind of like that, and there's sort of the, here we go. I'm going to just push this back even further. This back mountain, just right there like that. There we go. So there's a back mountain there, but you don't see it. That's kind of pretty. All right, so there we go. So the main focus is going to be on our poppies. Okay. And I think I want a little bit of yellow oxide now and some green. And watch how I just sort of push that back. Now I'm going to just go dry brush over this. Like this, just barely touch it. Kind of, now we're bringing this forward just a little bit. There we go. Okay, just barely touch it. Mostly the paint's off. Okay, and I might come up a little bit closer with that. Like that, tap it off. One of the reasons that you want to always test your paint before you put it on the canvas, and that's why I like a nice gray or white palette paper, wax palette paper. You want to be able to test it. Okay, your colors. All right, so these are sort of our, gray colors. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to take some cad red medium and some cad yellow medium. I'm just going to come along here like this. Now I'm going to wipe most of that off the brush and get a little bit more. Now what I want to do is I'm just going to very flatly suggest flowers back here. Nothing too bright. Just very flatly, little rows of flowers that are way in the background. Now, everything gets smaller as it goes back, and you don't really see it. So you wouldn't keep putting little dots all over here like that. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so, and they're a little bit less bright. Now we're painting them over green, so the green's going to sort of dull them a little bit. Just by their proximity to the green. Okay. Is going to make it seem a little bit duller. So and they're very skinny back here, and they're kind of in clusters. Make sure they go all the way off the canvas. See what we're doing? You don't see it that much, but there it is. And now remember, your acrylics dry darker, so if we wanted to do anything, we could add a little tiny bit of cad red medium and brighten up a couple of these as we came forward. As we come forward, we're going to go more into the cad red, and same orange, we just took the yellow out of it, and we're going to come up here. We want to make sure that you're leaving some green showing through. And now we're just going to come forward with this, with these poppies, and as we come forward, the masses of color is a little bit wider and it's brighter. Okay, so there we go. Very tiny back here. Barely see this way back here. Okay, so there you go. Now there's our poppies. Now what's going to happen is the front ones are going to be the ones that have the most attention. All right, there's the front ones, and these back ones, see if I can show you the picture. These back ones are we're just going to suggest them by brush direction and color. That's all we're going to do. I mean, this would be a fun painting to do. Now we're going to start changing direction, and we're going to start going up and down, almost like a graph, and we're going to come up here like this.
Are you using CAD red, CAD
I'm
yellow?
just using CAD red right now.
Just CAD red by itself.
Right now. I'm just using CAD red, and I'm just kind of come up here. I might take a little CAD yellow all by itself. Now I'm going to kind of overlap that like this and come up here with a little CAD yellow. All right, like this. And maybe put CAD yellow on one side of the brush and CAD red on the other. I'll show you what happens when you do that. Then you can kind of turn your brush over. But now we're saying that these little poppies, they're bigger. All right? It's like when you're painting bricks. You don't paint all the bricks. All right? You just paint a few bricks, and then your eye sort of believes that there's more bricks. All right, so make sure that you're leaving some green space. We're just sort of painting those in here like this. All right, and I've noticed that in here, like I say, and I'm just using CAD red medium. CAD red medium is a very, very powerful color. Here's some naphtha crimson and some CAD yellow medium, and I'll show you the difference. We'll make an orange with that, and it's going to be, that's a darker orange. That's going to be a little bit darker. It won't be as bright. There's CAD red medium. If that's all you had, that would be okay. The idea is to show you this, is to just say that these are a little bit bigger, and the brush strokes are changing now. They're not going back and forth anymore. They're going up and down. All right. Now, what we want to do here in the front is paint some larger ones, okay, so that these back ones all make sense. So probably what I'll do here is just take a small little tiny brush, let's say a little brush that goes to a point. Let's just take one that goes to a point. And what I want to do is I'm going to just take some titanium white. And the first thing I'm going to do is just paint in some little poppies. And they're almost like a V with the shape with the V, with a closed-in V would be the shape I've got going here like that. So I'm going to say these are bigger. They're about the size of my little fingernail. And I'm going to paint some white ones in here like that. Roll the paint off the brush, come in here the titanium, then have some coming off the canvas like this. All right, I'm just going to paint a few of those. So the front ones are the ones we're talking about. All right, and we're painting them white first because yellow only paints over white. Oh, okay. So well, what do you mean by that? Because yellow just doesn't show up at all unless you're painting it over white. That's what I mean by that. So we've got these, and then as they go back, ooh, there's a big glob of paint I didn't want. Oh, you take another brush and pull that off. Okay, there we go. Here, maybe just do it like that. All right, so there's this one. Let's put a few down here in the corner, a couple of big ones like that. And remember, there it's like a letter V with it, you kind of filled in the top, because you're not doing a lot of detail on here. It's a very impressionistic painting. Anyway, I started to tell you this was a really good day, and I had fun, you know, making that video for my birthday. It was really fun because I started to bring back birthday memories of the past, which is a little bit like some Harry Potter kind of stories. But, you know, not to get too grim about it, but it's worth listening. That video is worth listening to. So if you guys like stories, that one is full of these crazy stories about early childhood, and then my adopted parents' later years. In any event, all right. So I've got some of these now. As we go back further, we're going to make them a little bit smaller and start clumping them together. And even if I'm overlapping them with the different colors, I want to make sure that I've got them white, all right? And it's interesting to me that you want to change the direction. I've got most of them kind of going this way, but you might want some going the other way. And remember, they're getting smaller, like this, and I'm just putting them in here. Okay, here's that little cup right there is great for just, you want a drop of water. Sometimes you need just a drop of water on the brush. And
hey, where'd you get that cool little dish?
oh, I got this in Mexico. Isn't that cute? It was handmade by some artist, hand painted. And I liked it. If I'm going to put something on the show, I kind of like the idea of that, don't you guys? Like the idea of something handmade by the artist.
Absolutely.
I like that. And John got something really cool there too. And you'll have to show him what you got too, because I think it's kind of is interesting, you know, what John bought too when he was there. I spied it and I thought it was just great. He ought to have it. It's just great. Now I'm going to switch brushes. I don't need this little one anymore. I think I can just start using this bigger brush now and having little bits of white, little areas of white that I know I'm going to want yellow.
Is the brush you're using now the same brush you used on the hotel? The stucco?
That little angle brush, yes. So this is a little, half-inch angle brush, I think. Yeah, this is a half-inch.
Ooh, that's a big one
And
for you.
this is a fairly big one, but they can be big because you just use the corner. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to just bring some of these up front like this. I want to show you. Now, while this is drying, what I might do is take this tiny brush. All right, so we don't want all of the poppies yellow, but, you know, bright yellow, but we wanted some of them. So I'm going to take this sort of tiny brush and I'm going to come over here like this. I'm going to take a little phthalo blue and cad yellow medium and a tiny bit of maybe cad red medium, gray that just a little bit. Kind of gray that green, but I want it fairly bright. I want to come in here like this and suggest some lighter green in our field here. And it says that, you know, here's the thing. When you're trying to say that something's windy in a painting, what would you do? You have a person and their hat's down the street, or the grass is bending. In this case, this photograph sort of indicated to me that it was a windy day because all the grass is kind of going this way, and kind of going in this direction. We're kind of overlapping it. I want a little bit more blue-green here, a little more phthalo blue, a little bit more blue-green, a little purple with it, kind of dull it out just a touch. Okay, and we're going to say that little tiny tip of water on the brush. Roll your brush when you're using a pointed brush. I'm liking these little brushes that we found with the wooden handles. I like those a lot. I'm just going to come up here like this, put a few of these in. This is a fairly simple painting to do. There's what John got. You guys, can you see it?
Should be able to.
You see his? Do you see the
original
gecko? So he got himself a new one, isn't he?
He got himself mortified in glass.
Mortified in glass. Isn't that gorgeous? So that's what John got in Mexico. We thought that was a good. Then we can retire the other one to the trash bin, right?
That ain't gonna happen.
No? I mean, I thought that was why we got it. Let's add a little white to this now. Now we're coming forward here and adding a few little lighter ones. And you want some grass crossing over. They all can't be going the same direction. This is what you would call a sketch. This is sort of an acrylic sketch when you're sort of doing it with paints. Could have done it with colored pencils, but you're getting the idea. Here we go, little acrylic sketch. There we go. Now, what I have to do here is dry it. Okay?
Oh, here we go again, drying.
We're going to dry it. Do you have any more fun pictures you can show?
All I got is Andrew's, and you said, I just looked at your email, and you said you don't have a number 2.
Well, you saw what he sent, the final, right?
Yeah, I got the first and the final, and I got yours, so I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
Well, no, as a matter of fact, I'm not going to go with that because I didn't put those up yet because we were pausing.
All right, so
I just have to entertain them.
All right, you entertain them. I've got to dry this. All right, can I answer any questions before I dry?
The only other question I saw flying by here, I don't know if it was capitalized, so I might not be able to see it. Oh, it was about white. Wait a minute, white. Oh. They want to know the difference. Can you show sometime the difference of the whites and how here? Ginger, please give us an example of when using mixing white and when zinc white and titanium white.
Well, titanium white you use 98% of the time. Always. You're using titanium white. You're only using mixing white to push, like I showed you mountains back or for clouds. And if you want it more pale, then you use zinc. I use most of the time I just use mixing white. I've had a big jar of zinc for a long time. I hardly ever use it. How's that?
I believe you.
But because the mixing white mostly is for whatever I need to do with atmospheric perspective. So, but 98% of the time you're using titanium, okay? And titanium will make your paints a little chalky, where if you mix zinc white with a color, it'll lighten it without making it chalky. So sometimes you might want to do that. All right, I'm going to dry this. Okay, hang on. Let me just move some stuff.
Get some stuff out of the way.
Let's see if I can hold this down. Okay.
All right, well, she's doing that. Andrew sent in the flower pot in the window. Oh, it comes through sideways. I'm going to have to reload these for coming in sideways. I'll try to do that when she gets done with that. Her birthday, as you know, is on February 1st, which I believe is next Thursday. And with that in mind, we're going to be offering the birthday gift for at least 1 week. So from the 1st to the 8th, it will be a freebie for the entire world. So you're going to want to spread the word around once we release that. And I'm going to go ahead and get Andrews loaded up for next drawing session. And Ginger's back with us now.
Okay, thanks, John. I'm going to introduce a new color. Not really a new color. It's one we don't use very often. And not to this is called Cad Yellow Medium Light. You cannot make this. You can't add white to Cad Yellow Medium and get this Cad Yellow Light. But sometimes you just want Cad Yellow Light. Now, so I got to open it because these come all the way from Australia, and in their wisdom, they've decided to seal them up with a metal thing and not give you anything to open them with. So I'm just going to open them like that. There, put that in the water. Little nail is good to open them. All right, so Cad Yellow Light, I'm going to show you right there. And again, it's a softer white. And what we want to do is take our brush and take a little brush. Here's a little tiny 1/4 inch ruby satin silver angle brush, and I'm just going to paint over each one of these little yellow poppies with the yellow, these white poppies yellow. Okay, kind of like, and it's interesting. We've got a lot of poppies are a painting that everybody loves. If you're on YouTube, you'll notice that we've got a very nice poppy painting by Van Gogh in a vase. See if I can show you that one. This is the poppies are all over France, and so you said there's a Van Gogh poppy painting with a vase. We've got some palette knife information stuff on there. That's a video that's on YouTube right now that you can do. And then on our website, gingercooklive.gallery, for our student members, we've got, this is one of my favorite ones, sort of a close-up of these California poppies, all right, and more in the red tones, but okay. There's that. Then that's one of our step-by-step lessons. And some people don't realize that some of our lessons are 2-3 hours long. All right, we keep these short here on YouTube, but a lot of them are very, very long and very detailed and step-by-step. So you can pause and rewind. And then one of the other ones that's very popular that we have is the Monet's poppies, all right. And in this one I added the people, but in the lesson I don't think didn't put the people in. I'll have to do another one with the people. But I want you to notice how the poppies are smaller as they get back and they get bigger in the front, okay? So I wanted you to see that. And so poppies again are just, for some reason, as a group we all seem to like them. So now I'm going to take some Cad Yellow Medium and I'll show you the difference in the color, all right? Here's some Cad Yellow. Now do you see the difference in how much brighter it is? Huh? Look at that.
Well, speaking of that Cad Yellow, the question is, I heard a teacher say that Cad Yellow Light is more opaque than medium. Is that true?
Might be more opaque. It's certainly, I don't know. The problem with any of the yellows, now look how much better this picture looks already just doing that, right? The problem with any of the yellows, now what I'm going to do is just going to tap a bit of yellow on here like this over some of this. You see what I'm doing? I'm just tapping some on here like this. That's the yellow light, okay? The problem is that, let's see, where was I going with this? Now I totally lost the train of thought. Yellow in oil paints. Really does pretty well over anything. But the acrylic yellows just do not show up unless you painted white on them. So it probably will seem a little more translucent in that sense, but not if you paint it over white, then it's just the color. So if that makes sense. All right, so we're going to say that these are yellow. We're going to put some yellow in here. And the reason we're doing that right over the orange is that we want some brighter red effects in the front. We want some brighter colors right in the front. Okay. Now this brush is really worn out, but it's certainly perfect for this. It's kind of frayed now. At this point, it's kind of had it. I've ordered. Did you get my order into the brush guys?
No.
No. Okay. So I've got.
Speaking of brush guys, though, let's mention this. If you use the Ginger Cook coupon code,
which is all one word, lowercase Ginger Cook,
and it does not work, go ahead and complete your order and then email the brush guys. They have a contact us with an email address. Email them and let them know that you tried to use the Ginger Cook coupon code and it didn't go through. And they will credit you back the discounted, I think it's 5% right now. So you'll get that discount even though it didn't go through that way.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of a snafu on their website, which we discovered this afternoon, and they think they have it fixed, but I haven't had a chance to test it yet.
They said it worked in some areas, but not in other areas of the country. All right?
So it's kind of a weird problem.
So it's a weird problem. So if you tried to get it to work and it didn't work, and you tried to put the coupon code in and you bought some ruby satin silvers and you didn't get it, now watch. Here, let's just put a few right over the dark green. Now let me show you the difference. Okay, there we go. Well, it's hard to see, isn't it? Well, let's just join these together like this. Let's make 3. See how you want some of them touching. Do you guys see that? You want some of them touching. All right, so we're going to put a flower in there, and then I'm going to dry these again, all right? All right, and I went over a couple of times. Sometimes, just like painting a wall, sometimes you need 2 layers of things, and as long as I'm doing that, I'm going to take some Cad Red Medium and some of this Cad Red Light and make another bright orange color. And I'm going to come back over here again, and I'm going to brighten it up. Reds are one of those colors. It doesn't hurt to give it 2 coats. So let's see. I didn't want that to happen. Let's see. There we go. I'm going to go right back over this middle row here and brighten this row up. Okay, like that. All right. There are a lot of poppies here. All right, right like that. Okay. Cinnamon and I, when we were in France in 2000, 2001, we spent a summer, driving all over France and looking for poppies. I have to do a painting of one of those photographs that I have done in the past. All right, so John, see how this is see what I'm talking about? These are way small. Now we get the bigger flowers, right?
I'm loving it. I think it's looking great.
And this is not a hard painting to do. I promise you, this isn't hard. You just have to think a little bit about it. Just remember, the farther things are away, the grayer they get, and as they come forward, they have more detail. If you've got a lot of busy junk going on in here, then you wouldn't want a real busy sky. You need an area where your eye can kind of rest too. We'll talk about that. All right, so let me dry that.
Here's a question I know you're going to love.
Oh, I like questions.
This is right up your alley.
Yeah.
Ivory black, Mars black, lamp black. When do I use them?
Never.
I knew it. I knew that answer. I'm
Never.
a winner.
No, but if you go over to my daughter, the art Sherpa, she has a whole thing on black. The difference between all those. She's got a whole video up there on YouTube on the differences between black. That's the art Sherpa. That's my daughter, Cinnamon. And she'd be happy to explain to you black. We tend to use, when I teach painting parties and we teach very, very beginning art, we give people black, but as you become a fine artist, you learn how to not use black. You saw that beautiful dog? Put that dog back up on the picture real quick, John.
Oh, just think I can do that.
Yeah, can't you?
Yeah, I can do that.
Put that dog back up, and let me just show you something.
Put that dog back up.
All right,
there.
That whole tutorial that I have with this dog, there is no black in this dog.
There you go.
There is no black, you guys, in that dog.
Black was not used.
Was not used. Now that's just the difference between, this is how you learn to become a fine artist, is you learn to mix colors. There's no black in that dog. Isn't that amazing?
I don't see how they did it.
Well,
if you watch
they
the
did
video,
it the way I did it, John. I did it
That's
that
how
way.
they did. I knew they knew how to do it.
They did it the way I did it, and because my dog didn't have any black either. All right, so again, this is how you do this stuff, and that's why black kills colors, and except for the exception of abstracts, sometimes black can be very effective in an abstract. Other than that, I'm not a big fan of using it. Okay,
there you go.
So there you go.
Woo.
All right, so we're back.
Boy, we all got a tongue laughing on that one, didn't we?
Well, no, we didn't. We're just saying how it is, John.
That's right.
You want to know how it is, right?
I do.
And I love what Cinnamon used to say to me. One time, I had to be on jury duty, and I had to go somewhere, and it wasn't going to work out. And this was going to be like a 3-month jury. And I was telling my daughter, says, I don't know. I said, they brought us in there, down to Houston, and I had to do this jury thing, and I don't know how that's going to work. And she says, tell them what you really think, Mom. They'll never have you on the jury. Just tell them what you believe. Trust me, you won't be on. They wouldn't have you. Nobody wants you on the jury, right? And one of my favorite things, I got to dry this, but I have to say that one of my favorite things, the questions they asked me, was that did I think it was something about big corporations should be held accountable? Didn't you think that people would just, by goodwill, do the right thing? And I'm going, well, no, I don't think that. I don't think by goodwill people do the right thing. And let me just give you an example. Take the speed limit, okay? Now, the reason that everybody obeys the speed limit, I think you could get most women, most of us would probably, if you said 60 was the safest thing to do, I think we'd all go along with it and going, oh, okay, all right, that's good. But I tell you, I've just known an awful lot of guys in my life that if you didn't have a speed limit, they weren't going to have their driver's license pulled or their insurance go up or a big fine for a speeding ticket. Do you think they'd care if it said 60 miles an hour suggested speed limit? They'd just say, what do they know? And they would just go faster. That's what, I just personally think sometimes fines in place make a difference. So that opinion certainly kept me off that jury. All right. And that's the kind of thing. If you ask my opinion, tell us what you really think. I'll tell you. All right.
Yeah, here we go.
I'll tell you. All right.
All right. She's drawing. What? You blew it off? No. Good thing that camera's not on. All right, looking at the screen right now, we have a painting from our good buddy in Haiti, Andrew. This was his first attempt at this particular painting. This is we call it the flower pot in the window. And Ginger sent to him this remarks. And if you remember correctly, how he had his wall was very light on the right. So you want to glaze over the wall, get it a little bit darker, highlights green, make your flower colors two-tone. You gave him a whole list of things to do. Now he sent in a second one, which, well, I don't think we ever got the second one. We ended up getting a third one though, and that's what I want to show you what he ended up with. And this is his final. Whoops, let me change it. It's not there. I'm going to change it over on this one. So this is what he ended up with. Right here. All right, so there's the final. Look at the difference. Now take a look at this is the final one he did. It took I think they corresponded like 3 times on this one. 3 or 4 times to get it finalized. Here's the first. Oops, not that one. Hold on a second. I'm going to put the other one back in that slot. Number.
So you can turn me on. I can talk a little bit about it too.
Oh, you've done the drawing?
Yeah.
Okay, she's back. Let me
So,
get the first one back up.
The purpose of this painting, do you have my original somewhere on the wall or something I can show people the original? I'd like to show people the original to this too, because this is a really cool painting lesson. We have a speed painting done of this on YouTube, and then this is a lesson for our video lesson library. Every Thursday, our members get gingercooklive.gallery get a new painting lesson, and so we have that. John will find that. All right, so that's the final. Now the idea behind this painting and the thing that made it so striking was the highlights on the windowsill. So if the wall on the right was too light, then it took away from the drama of the piece. You see how much more dramatic the piece is, because now your eye is focused. Because what happens in any painting, your eye will go to the lightest light and the darkest dark first, okay? So you need to have your center of interest, or what you're trying to talk about, be the most dramatic. And you see how the lighting is dramatic? And what you show us first piece, you're going to do that real quick?
Well, I'm going to show you. Well, let me show you yours. I've got yours up here.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So
okay.
There's the original piece.
There's the original piece, and you see how we're teaching that lesson some old barn wood, and how to all the wood was done with a palette knife, which is kind of cool, right? Okay.
So let's go back to Andrew's first one.
Okay.
Is that one? Let's go to Andrew's final.
There's final.
And here's his final.
Yeah, and you see how that just darkening that wall, what a huge difference that made, and adding a few more highlights on the green leaves, just a few. Now he made his 16 by 20. He made it much larger than I made mine. He added a few more leaves, and I like this flowers very much. He put in the pot. Everything about this painting is really stunning, and now it's very dramatic, very nice. So anyway, that's the kind of thing that we like to talk about with personal art coaching. And sometimes we take what you've done, maybe you even have a better idea than I did, and we go with it. Whatever you did, we go with it and see how we can emphasize and make that really great. All right. So we're going to keep painting. I sent you those. Didn't I send you the ones with the? Oh, I did. I guess next week we'll do that. Okay.
What?
The ones with the berries picture.
Not the final.
I didn't.
I got the first two. I got the first one, then what you said, but not her final one.
Well, there was only two.
I thought she sent us. No, she sent us the final because we saw how it got lighter.
Yeah. Yes. She did us the final.
Let me see if I can find it. You keep
okay.
busy
So now we're
getting
ready to see. Now we're getting ready to do this. Okay. So, in fact, if you want to zoom in on what we're doing, that's not a terrible idea either. Just zoom in on this right here, John.
Because you're just going to be focused.
I'm going to be right up here in this front section. If you guys want to see that, we'll get this really big here.
Yep.
Can we zoom in on it right now like that? Here, look at that. All right, because we're not really changing colors. So now what we're going to do is just take a little bit of CAD red medium, a little brush, the CAD red medium, maybe mix it with a little yellow. Here's like that. Wake that up. Now we want to come here and just start painting these poppies in, maybe leaving some of these yellow highlights somewhere like that. Can I come back here like that? Paint this poppy in. Let's take a little bit of CAD red medium and make some of it a little bit darker, like that. So here we go. So we're going to just paint this in there. I'm using the CAD yellow light as a mixing for the orange. Okay, like that. And I'm going over this. Now these front ones are going to become much brighter. Let's play with this. Let's try a little magenta and yellow and see what we get. Let's see what kind of orange we get doing that. All right, that's a little magenta. That's pretty too. If you've got some different reds, play with it. See what you like. Okay. Now just come back here a little lighter as we go back. And right over the yellow poppies. And these are going to be so much brighter. Just leave tiny bits of that yellow peeking through. Like that. A little bit. Like this. Here's this one.
Where did you get the original poppy photo?
I got the original poppy photo, John, from Paint My Photo. The original poppy photo, I found that on Paint My Photo.
You don't know who or?
No.
Okay.
I
probably just put poppies, you could find that one.
Yeah, probably just if you want to look through 16,000 photos.
Hey, what do you do if you don't have CAD yellow light?
Use CAD yellow medium.
See how simple that was?
I'm just showing you. Sometimes it's nice to know that there's other colors in your toy box that you can get out, right? Now, I'm just putting there's a little bit of water on the brush now. And see, these are a little more translucent because we've added a little bit of water on the color. Do you see that? See, this is a little more translucent than this darker red. Now look what happens right over the yellow. See? Now, so vary the tones of the red. Don't vary it a little bit. Here's some brighter CAD red medium right over this. Don't be afraid to change out a little bit your colors. Now right over where this yellow is, I'm going to rinse my brush, and I'm just going to very gently, because I've just got a little water on the brush, over the yellow. I'm doing almost like a glaze. Do you see that? So it's like a water and just a little bit of whatever left orange paint that's left in my brush. I'll just wipe it off here like that. See, right over here. Now look what happens. See, I've got this variety of color because, here, just tap off the excess. There you go. Right over here, I'm just saying, let me just wipe off most of that. Just pull it up. Now we dried it so that there's darker orange, and then there's this lighter orange. Guess I could put this down somewhere for a minute. I'll paint myself. And play with the glazing a little bit. Play with your glazing. Glazing is where you either add water or a glazing medium. Now that's a little dark right there. So all I have to do is just take a rag and wipe that up with it. Just tap it up. As long as you've dried everything. Drive is like save as, all right? So now look here. See how we've come around here like that. Now we've got this really cool looking field of poppies here. We're just going to glaze over this too, these ones here a little bit. Remember, acrylics are all about layers. Maybe I'll take a little bit of yellow and white now. Wipe off the excess off my brush. A little bit of yellow and white, and maybe I'll come over here and add a bit. Now I'm going on the outside of this poppy. Oh, I think I want some cad yellow medium over here with that. Yeah, a little bit of yellow. Now watch here. Just brighten this here. Now I'm going to just add another layer to this poppy. Like that. Just brighten up these front ones. Okay. Because these front ones are getting the detail where the back ones are not, right? Just to add a few little lights of color. Now remember, your eye's going to kind of follow the light. So you can come back here again, tiny bit of yellow. We can do this for a long time. But we don't have to. I'm just saying that there's a little bit of yellow. Your eye's sort of following this brightness all the way back. And I'm going to come back here with some brighter cad red medium. Tap some on here too.
Here we go.
A couple of places.
I got berries.
You got what?
The underwater from Barry.
Oh, you got it?
Yep.
Yeah, Barry just did a great job. Barry Davis did a great job on her or his picture. I'm not sure. We're going to have a new form so we know who we're critiquing. We have no idea. If you said if your name is
Either
Barry
or
either, or you could be. We don't know if you're 10 or if you're 100. We don't know what your deal is, and you may have. So we're going to be sending you guys. Look for a new form coming out where we kind of get that.
Does glazing have to be a transparent pigment?
Does glazing have to be a transparent pigment? No, you can glaze with anything, really. It's just that you have to glaze, when you're glazing, it has to be over something with, its glazing is usually, except for white, is usually the color and with water or glazing medium over something lighter than itself. You can't glaze over something darker. So imagine you're wearing a white shirt and you spill coffee on it. That's kind of the idea, okay? Or tea. In fact, those of you who used to sew, I don't know if we have any sewers in the group, but
I'm sure we do.
You know, I used to be a big sewer. Well, we lived in Aspen when Cinnamon was a kid. I lived in Aspen, and boy, clothes were expensive. I had that kid was dressed really well, and I had to make a lot of her clothes. I just want a little bit of light back over here too. Just a little bit of this light yellow back here. Don't bring the yellow back too far, because yellow kind of brings your eye forward, and so you got to be kind of careful. But you see, I'm just adding a few little highlights here. Now, let's come on. Isn't that kind of cute? I'll just show you this picture for a minute, right here. Here's our field of poppies, right?
That was great.
And now we'll just come back and do a few little more details on some of these front poppies. Maybe we'll put a little kind of a leaf going off that way. I think some of them kind of had almost a little trumpet feel to them, so I might just change a little of the leaf shapes here. If I was doing this bigger, I might take a little more care in the actual shape of that. All right, so where's my little brush? I'm going to make a really dark green now. Phthalo blue, yellow, a little bit of red, really, really dark green. Ultramarine blue, let's say just some sort of dark green. Now what I'm going to do here is, since I used the brush to mix that with, I'll just put it on the point, kind of roll your brush. Now I want to come in here and I'm going to shape this poppy right here like this. I'm going to come in here like this and shape this one. See that? I mean, I didn't do it that swift a job when I first painted it, but that I don't have to. I can come back with a small brush and perhaps even add a stem on a couple. But you know, you don't need to do too many, but you can, for instance, come back in and get your bowl back, or if you've lost something. Now let's put a little bit of light. Let's make a little light green here with some, say, yellow. Let's come back over here and get a light green going, like that. Now what I might do is say that there's a, here, pinch the brush, rinse it off, pinch it, come back, just put the paint on the tip. All right, so I might have some leaves coming through some of these like this. Does that make sense? You need a few kind of coming over. You gotta bury the poppies in the grass in a few places. That's what I would tell you. You want to bury the poppies and maybe have some grass coming up over a couple of them. Maybe you need to poke some holes back in your grass where you got carried away with all the orange. Anyway, we used to sew, and what we would do is, you know, if you did lace, if you had something that had lace on it, I used to make her these elaborate dresses, and they had all these petticoats and stuff on them. And I'd take the lace and soak it in either coffee or tea, and then set it with an iron, and you know, set that in there. So you know, if you didn't want white lace, and this is the same idea with glazing. All right, so we're just putting a few little green, breaking up some of these like this. Okay, and let's take a little bit of, just a few little light ones in here like this. There we go. Don't want to get it too busy in the front, but just indicate that there might be some. And then we could put, they're not in the picture, but I'm not against putting in a few little pods either, kind of gray-green pods. You could just do a couple like that up in the front like this, not too many, just a couple little pods. All right, just something like that. And there you guys, you have the picture, and I think that that is cool. It's really nice. And I think I might just take some magenta and red. Now, let's see, so do I have any naphtha crimson? And red. I want a few of these a little darker, so I'm going to come up here like this at the base of some of these, right? And make a few darker. Not every one, just a couple. A little water on the tip of my brush and suggest that some of these are a little darker right in the front. Right down here like this. Okay. There we go. All right, there you go, you guys. We've got our field of poppies, and I think that that came out. I'm gonna show you this. All right, which is kind of busy. And now we've got, you know, kind of a neat landscape and pretty simple. And the idea behind this is that things are bigger in the front, they get smaller as they go back. If you get too many shapes like this, you can take some green and break it up so that you didn't, if you got carried away with all your red, you can come back and poke a few holes in something if you need to, you know. And there we have it.
Beautiful job.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, let's, I got berries loaded up.
All right, I want you guys to see this. This is really nice. This was our Wave and Water Masterclass, and everything about this painting was absolutely perfect, except that remember the rule, your eye goes to the lightest light and the darkest dark. Now, without us telling you, where does your eye go in that picture?
I know.
All right, so you can kind of see it, right? And John knows, yeah, see where your eye goes. So the center of interest is kind of that orange and that orange fish and those yellow ones, but your eye doesn't really go there, does it? So what we told Barry, and you have the thing, was to just, the really great painting was to lighten the floor and either lighten, you know, you had to push that rock back, you know, lighten the rock a bit so that it wasn't the first thing you saw, all right? Other than that, it's a great painting, really fun, and really a marvelous picture. And so why don't you show the final then? And so look at the difference. Lighten the floor. Look at that. Do you see the difference that made? That I just want to tell you that we're offering, even if you're taking lessons from us now for a week, we weren't doing that, but we are right now, at least for the time being. If you're just doing it for a week for $9.95, and that gives you access to all of the 265 lessons we have on our website. You just pick whatever you want to paint. But we'll do personal art coaching during that week for one lesson. If you have something you want us to, you know, some help with, that's because we think, I know it makes a difference, even with really outstandingly marvelous artists like we showed you tonight, like Andrew and Barry. That's really good artists. But everybody needs a second look sometimes, and I see you sometimes going up on Facebook, and you ask everybody to give an opinion, and that's a lot of opinions. And sometimes, you know, we try very hard to be very constructive and informative and help you understand why you're doing something. So anyway, I'm going to throw that commercial in, and I want to also say, if you like this video, if you come back later, be sure to do some likes and comments and helpful comments. We love your feedback, and tell me also what you'd like to see on our show. We're very interested. We'll be doing more of those Painting with the Masters series soon. Those are sort of impromptu. But on Monday nights, these cookie crumbs are things we want to focus on to help you all enjoy your painting and painting experience, make it fun.
That sounds good to me. Well, gang, this wraps up another exciting evening with Ginger Cook and Cookie Crumbs. And we'll be back tomorrow for another exciting episode of Learn to Paint with Ginger, 7:30 Central Time. And again on Wednesday for the Ginger Snap lessons. Good night, everyone. And remember, thumbs up, subscribe, share, pass the word. And remember, a birthday is coming up, and you all win. Good night, everyone.